Hi all. Everything in my video is pulled from the public domain, and I am using them under the Fair Use, Fair Dealings guidelines. Everything I say is my own opinion. You should look into this information for yourselves, but I'm pretty sure I'm right.
Hi everybody. Hard to have a sleep study when you can barely sleep. Okay, so we have a couple things we're going to do before we discuss the royals and what all I have for you. So the first thing we're going to talk about is what I said about Trump and Biden. Everybody said some things, just because I think that Biden might have the beginnings of dementia. I was speaking from a clinical standpoint, from an observation standpoint. I was called a bully. I was told I'm obviously blue. I love Biden. I hate Trump. I don't like Trump. I don't like Biden. I don't like any of them. Personally, I think we need some fresh blood on both sides. But irregardless, I want to show you these because these clearly show you what I'm talking about when I say I think he's got some dementia. People who have trouble walking upstairs, people who have a shuffling gait, people who say nonsensical things like this.
$200 billion.
These are people who usually have the beginnings of dementia. He constantly needs to be redirected. That's just my personal opinion, guys. It doesn't make me a bully. Second of all, I want to talk also about the immigration thing because people just went nuts over that also. You have to understand that Harry was allowed to come into the United States because he's married to an American. He doesn't need anything for that. He's legally allowed to come in because he's able to prove he's married to Meghan. The visa is for work, and he had months to put that in. And by then the election was upon them. And that's why Meghan did that thing. Everybody says this election is so important, but this one really is. That's why she did it. Because I think they knew if they applied for a visa with Trump, they were going to lose. So, okay. Now, we have a lot to cover today.
I will let you know the sleep study went well. It was hard to sleep. This stuff was in my hair, on my face, on my body. I was wired to the hilt, and then I was expected to fall asleep. Not so easy to do. I was like, what? Just so you know, the end result is, yes, I have sleep apnea. We knew it already, though. All right, let's move on now. To start with, I want to thank my subscriber, Allison, for sending me these fabulous stamps. My stamp collection is going to be growing, and I can't replace everything stolen, but it's a good start. Allison, thank you so much. We're going to start off with King Charles this morning. He received High Commissioner Paul Andrew Gomez of the Bahamas at Buckingham Palace. Now we're moving on to Princess Anne, the Princess Royal, who went to the Royal Logistics Corps because they celebrated the 30th anniversary and they had a parade in Winchester. Now Anne is the Colonel-in-Chief and they provide logistical support to the British Army. All right, moving on. All right, I wanted to touch on this really quickly. An article came out looking at the reason why Charles wants Andrew to move out of the Royal Lodge, which was the former home of the Queen Mother. For instance, we know he wants to slim down the monarchy, and that would reduce expenditure because apparently it's costing £250,000 annually to help for the upkeep. So people are asking, is it appropriate for Andrew to stay there? And then there's the question of where's William going to live with his family? Right now they're in Adelaide College, but eventually they said that Royal Lodge is a more appropriate home. But Angela Levin says there's even more of a reason that's very personal, which is why Charles is really wanting Andrew to move out of Royal Lodge and into Frogmore Cottage. And it has to do with something that happened with Andrew. Well, what Angela Levin is suggesting is that Andrew was the favorite of the Queen and Philip, and therefore he should be allowed to stay there, and it upsets Charles that he was the favorite. And that's really why he's wanting him to move. Now, we know Andrew signed a 75-year lease, but he's also obligated to keep the mansion in good condition, and it looks like physically, financially, he can't afford that. It's also being reported in this article that Andrew thought he'd be a better king than Charles, and that supposedly there were discussions between Fergie, Princess Diana, and Andrew on how they could push Charles aside, which would have left Andrew as regent to Prince William, putting the Duke of York on the throne. So if that is true and Charles found out about it, this may be his revenge. Wow. All right, moving on. Next up, remember I told you what their PR is doing? First it was the cute comments with Zara. Then it was the comments about flirting with the boy. Now Meghan is being praised for her cute reaction to something that happened 3 years ago when there was a surprise engagement. They're still trying to push the royal connection. Now, at the same time, a blind item came out saying that Meghan now has her own permanent hotel suite across from the offices from the new agency that's representing her. I don't know if I believe that, but whatever. All right, let's move on to something really good. Well, we know there was a wedding in Jordan, but before we cover that, did you guys know that Princess Catherine lived in Jordan? For 3 years as a child, she actually learned some Arabic while she was there. How cool is that? I didn't know that. That certainly would explain why they travel there so much, why they take family vacations there, and why Catherine and William have such a close relationship with the royal family there. So we know again that they flew to Amman to attend the royal wedding. Absolutely beautiful. She landed. We saw the pantsuit. We also saw a couple of other royals. They came in on regular flights like other people without a lot of pretension. I love it. Just an FYI, 99% of these photos were taken from Jordanian television. A small percentage were taken from TV articles or from magazine articles, and a small percentage came from Twitter. So here we go. William and Catherine arrived at the Zoran Palace. The King Abdullah II and Queen Rania welcomed them. So the car pulled up. There were a lot of guests. The car pulled up, and I noticed there was a UK flag in the corner. I guess that's how they knew which car had which people in it. So Catherine steps out in this absolutely gorgeous dress. It was a pink maxi gown with long sleeves by Elie Saab. And interestingly enough, this dress was seen on the runway. Now, of course, we know Catherine. She may have seen it on the runway, but she never wears anything off the rack. The dress initially, the front part of the dress, the what do you call it? The skirt portion of the dress was see-through. So of course she had that changed. So anyway, they get there. They were warmly greeted. They had a nice discussion with the king and queen. Again, they have a very close relationship with the king and queen. Anyway, she had the dress altered so that nothing was see-through. I love this on the front. She took the belt off. And a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce on Twitter for the information about Catherine's outfit. She was gorgeous. Right behind William and Catherine, all of a sudden, here comes Princess Beatrice and her husband, Eduardo, I'm going to try to say it, Eduardo Mapelli Mosey. I don't think that's right, but again, thank you to Remoulade Sauce for the information about her dress. This dress was absolutely gorgeous. It was shimmering, and it's hard to see in some of the pictures, but it's actually blue. I love the fact that she added the black belt and the black bow, which you can't see at this exact minute, on the back of her head. That's a Princess of York thing. That's a Fergie thing that I think she started it. Anyway, King Abdullah was obviously very happy to see them. I love the curtsy. Nobody does a curtsy like Beatrice. Sorry, she's the queen of it. She looked lovely, and I love the fact that her husband's tie matches her outfit. Just beautiful. Now you can see the bow in the back of her hair right there. Anyway, Crown Prince Frederick and Crown Princess Mary then worked therein. Now, we're only going to cover 2 or 3 people other than William and Catherine, and I'm only covering them because, once again, nobody curtsies like Princess Mary. My goodness, and I love her dress. Next up, you have King Philippe and Princess Elizabeth, I think is how you say it. And behind them was Queen Maxima and King Wilhelm Alexander. Now, the biggest thing about her dress people were going on about is that in Jordan, if you noticed, all the women, their dresses totally covered them up, like from neck down. Her dress showed some cleavage. Now, it's my understanding from looking some stuff up that this is actually very, what's the word? For her, this is covered up. But no, I think she could have covered up just a smidge more. Beautiful dress, though. Next up, you had Crown Princess Victoria and her husband, Daniel. And once again, that is how you do a curtsy, people. All right, so then they sat everybody in the group. I love the fact that William and Catherine were just sat right in the middle of all this royalty. You know what I mean? Just love it. And here comes the bride. Miss Rajwa was wearing an Elie Saab wedding gown. It was tailored to perfection. It was body skimming. Wasn't what I was expecting, I got to be honest. But, again, they do things there very modestly. But yet it was modest while still making her look absolutely fabulous. I loved the venue. Beautiful. I loved her outfit. The two of them just look so happy. I mean, just look at them. So when it was over, they came down and then they went to get on a receiving line, a very long receiving line, I can't imagine. And of course, Catherine and William were on the line. And then here comes Beatrice and Edo on the line. Now, again, people were talking about the fact that she was able to hug the Crown Prince. Apparently, she also has a very close relationship with the family. Now, here's the next thing that happened. I really don't know what to make of this. So the prince and the new princess leave the venue and get in a beautiful Land Rover, which we're going to talk about also in just a minute. And they come out and all of a sudden they're surrounded by 8 red armed Land Rovers there was so much security and weapons around them. It was shocking. I mean, there was a parade. There were bagpipes, lots of bagpipes. It was like, wow. But this would have made me nervous. Now, I don't know if this is just a traditional thing and the guns were just there for show. I don't know. But to see all these machine guns surrounding this couple, like they were providing protection, for me would have been a little odd. Now, very sweet. The Range Rover was the one that the Queen and Prince Philip used when they were there in Jordan. As a matter of fact, the car that dropped the bride off was the car that Camilla and Charles used when they were there in Jordan. Very nice. Now, after trolling through the streets, they headed for the reception. Here is the venue for the reception. This is not the evening banquet. This was just the after reception. Isn't that just gorgeous? Then the king, the queen, the princesses, everybody in the royal family then showed up and started walking while they waited for the new bride and groom to show. Now, when they showed up, you want to talk about a party. There were people dancing in front of them, leaping around, playing instruments. Like it was like a welcome to the venue, like something you've never seen. Like these people know how to throw down. I'm not going to show you the video just in case it's a copyright thing, but here's some screen grabs. But these people know how to party. Now, here's the interesting thing. Look in the bottom left corner there. On Twitter, somebody noticed that it looked like Carol Middleton was there along with Pippa and James. And then it came out they were there. So this I'm going to show you just a little clip. Look to the bottom left. There she is in blue. Gorgeous. Carol Middleton, Pippa, and James were invited and went to the wedding. Now that was a surprise. I didn't see her husband. I'm pretty sure he stayed behind to maybe take care of the children. I don't know. Anyway, then the guests left their hotel to go to the banquet. So after the reception, they went to the hotel, they changed, and then they went to the banquet. You had Queen Maxima, you had, the king and their daughter, who, by the way, looked absolutely ravishing. You have Crown Princess Victoria and her husband, Prince Daniel. Again, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for all of the information on the outfits that they were wearing. I just love her. She's one of the most down-to-earth royal people you will ever meet. You guys have to look into a whole thing with her. Anyway, everybody went on to the reception. There, this huge cake was cut with a very large sword. Apparently, there were 1,700 guests there, and that would explain why they needed the big sword. The area was lit up in this gorgeous blue. The bride and groom were sat in a certain area, and then the entertainment started. Now, before that, the princess changed into a new dress. I gotta be honest, I didn't like it so much. It was basically, it looked to me like just another wedding gown with a bunch of big white roses sewed on it. I don't know. It just didn't do it for me. I mean, she's gorgeous. She still looked beautiful. I don't know. I was just looking for something a little bit more, I don't know. Anyway, so they announced them in one by one. And first, we have William and Catherine of the royals that we're watching. And Catherine came out. She's wearing the Lover's Knot tiara. She's wearing a Jenny Packham gown. We know how much she loves that particular designer. I just thought she looked absolutely beautiful. Her hair, she always holds herself so well. So they went down the line talking. Once again, a big thank you to Remoulade Sauce for all of the information about the outfit that she was wearing. Again, I thought she looked absolutely lovely. Look at that smile and those earrings she were wearing. And then Princess Beatrice came down the line in her outfit. I love this on her. I really did. I know that the actual picture of it doesn't look that good when you look at it, but I thought she looked absolutely lovely. And that is the York tiara she's wearing, last worn by her mother at her wedding. Now, it's pretty obvious that there was a color theme. Almost everybody had on like some kind of a peachy, purpley tone. Okay. Next up was Prince or King Wilhelm Alexander and Queen Maxima. Again, looking lovely. And then, of course, the royals stood around. There's Victoria and Daniel. And, they all stood around talking and they all looked lovely. Looked like everybody had a great time. I think somebody else somewhere else might have been a little jealous about this. So I want to finish up this video by simply saying to you all that one of the great things about the First Amendment is freedom of speech. You can voice an opinion. I never censor on my channel. I want your opinions, and I don't remove anybody's comments unless they're abusive. If you're abusive, not only will I remove your comment, I'll remove you. But let's all keep an open mind when people have, comments, okay? All right, you guys, you know what I want. Leave those comments below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you've already hit the button, double check and make sure that you are still subscribed. Don't forget to go into the description box and you'll find the links to my Twitter, my Getter, my Rumble, my email, and my physical address in case there's something you want to email me. For those of you who've donated to my coffee fund or through the thanks button, thank you so much. And as always, you guys, have a great day.